Hey guys, it is Vlogmas 4, and the reason I'm kind of leaning into my webcam is because I actually organized myself for this vlog. Relatively. I have some notes. There's not a lot of them, but there's notes. So, pat on the back for me trying to organize myself. But today's topic is going to be a little more serious than what my vlogs normally are. And it's essentially just, okay, I guess plainly it's about economic crisis, which sounds really bland. Bland. Economic crisis is such a serious thing. Sorry. Okay, I guess I didn't organize myself as well as I thought I was going to. But basically, I've been talking to this guy, Julian. He is from Germany, and he and a couple of students came up here for a campus tour last year because there was this computer science and engineering exchange program for seniors, whatever. So I gave him a tour, and we got to talk, whatever. That's how I know him. Okay, that's the point. So we've been talking, and he's been telling me how Europe is basically poor, and thankfully Germany is still one of the countries that's at the top. And then he'd go, well, I know you don't really care, so we don't have to talk about this. And I'm like, what do you mean I don't care? He goes, well, Americans only care about America. They don't care what goes on in other countries. And that actually made me really sad because it's kind of true. I mean, as a whole, we tend to just, and you know, part of it too, I guess I'm thinking now back to my intercultural communication class, we export so many services and supplies, so many more services and supplies than we import. So we are dishing out so much of our culture, but we're not taking much of it in. And I think that is a huge part of it. And granted, I mean, we produce a lot of things that, I mean, they're top notch, so why would we look somewhere else for them? But, I mean, it's one thing, like, languages. I know so many people who have said specifically they refuse to learn another language. They don't see the point. And that's what's nice about, at least in my junior high and high school. In junior high, you had to take a language for both years, and then in high school, you had to take it for at least the first two. And I know a lot of, at least here it's in my university, if you want a Bachelor's of Arts, you have to have 2-year language proficiency. So there are little ways that they try to get you, I guess, cultured, but I look at the news and things, and I feel like it's really filtered. There's that post that goes around on Tumblr, I see it every couple months, and it shows Time magazine covers for the United States and then like 3 other countries. And those other 3 countries always have different covers than the United States, and the covers in the United States are so much, they're like watered down. Well, they're filtered, like I said, and it's just kind of, it's really frustrating because it's, you know, so, okay, Julian said, you know, Americans only care about America, like, you don't take the time to learn about other countries, but if we don't know what to look up, we're not going to look it up. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't just sit here and be like, I wonder how, you know, what's the economic status of Germany right now? Let me go Google that. You know, it's not something I would just think of on my own. So I did that post earlier this morning about how I think school should actually be, and I mentioned the unemployment in Spain. So I looked up some statistics. Now, last year, the article we read in my Spanish civilization class talked about, it was all in 2009, and so the youth unemployment rate, and youth is ages 16 to 24, so it's teenagers and then people who are graduating from college and entering the workforce, was 40%, which is ridiculously high, and it's now at 50% as of, well, July. As of July, the youth unemployment rate in Spain is at 50%. And just to give you some comparison, in the United States, the youth unemployment is 17.9, which is still, I mean, it's a high number, but it's nowhere near 50. And then when you look at the country as a whole, in Spain, their total unemployment is 25%. In the United States, it's 7.9. And, I mean, just 1/4 of the people in Spain, 1/4 of the nation does not have a job. And here, we have over 90% of our people have jobs, which is, when you look at it that way, I mean, it's crazy to think about. And I don't know, the fact that I mean, so he's like, you know, you guys don't care, and, which I've said that 3 times already now, but I don't know, and I don't even really know what point I'm trying to make or how I'm trying to make it. I guess I just wish that we had more, I can't even say I wish we had more resources for learning about this stuff because we have the internet. I mean, that's pretty much all you need. But I wish there was a way for me to know what I should know. Like, okay, I learned about this in class. Then I went and took the time to go look up other stuff about it, you know, but I wouldn't have known I wouldn't have known to look up the unemployment rate in Spain if I hadn't learned about it in class, you know? And so, and another thing too, speaking of Europe, is their school system, or their university system, the way they work for college. And so let me pull up this Wikipedia here. Where did I put it? Where did I put it? I think I closed it. I'm going to find it. Why am I talking like this? Alright, so I found it. So basically, the way it works in universities in Europe is they have what's called numerous clauses, and it means closed number in Latin. And so what the Wikipedia definition says is it's one of many methods used to limit the number of students who may study at a university. In many cases, the goal of numerous clauses is simply to limit the number of students to the maximum feasible in some particularly sought-after areas of study. Now, what brought that on was Julian asked me if I was still studying psychology, and I said, oh no, I'm studying public relations, but I really like psychology. And he said, you know, I love psychology too, but I didn't have the grades for it. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't have the grades for it? Can't you just study whatever you want? And he said, no, you have to, he's like, because of numerous classes, you know, your grades essentially determine like what you're able to study. And I did some more research about this, and it's not very common in the United States except for in our Ivy League schools, which I thought was interesting. And so it says, although it's never been officially legislated, a number of private universities and medical schools introduced this system between 1918 and the 1950s. So Harvard University, Columbia, Cornell, Boston, Middlesex University? That's a medical school that I've never heard of. See, learning can be fun when you're not getting a grade for it. So anyway, basically it just kind of, I don't know, I just thought that was really interesting that, you know, if I had never talked to Julian, I probably would have never even known this thing existed. But I don't know, I just think it's kind of interesting that you go to high school or secondary school or whatever you call it, wherever you are, and based on those grades, they kind of, you have to pick a career based on those grades. I don't know. So, yeah, I guess I just kind of wanted to spark something in the minds of you guys or get you guys thinking, because I know a lot of the people that follow me and that I follow are from the United States. So, I mean, I can't imagine you knowing, I mean, I'm sure you know as much about any of this stuff as I do. I say a lot, sorry. And also, this is getting pretty long. But at least you don't have to look at anything, so you can just listen to me. It's like a podcast. So, also, I don't really know, did I really explain numerous classes? I kind of skipped, I don't know, it's just interesting that so many thoughts are running through my mind, and I tried so hard to be organized. I don't know, it's just kind of, so this all kind of comes back around to, comes back to my post earlier today, is, you know, you get these people who go to school to study something specific, and like in Germany, for example, that's what they're required to do. Like, they don't have that option. They have to study off of, you know, a short list of what their grades will let them do, but then they graduate, and there isn't anything they can't do anything. And I was thinking, you know, what if they just brought the retirement age down so that people had to retire at like age 60? But the problem is, regardless of how soon you have people retire, the amount of youth who are graduating university and entering the workforce is significantly larger than the elderly who are exiting the workforce. So it would never balance itself out. And, you know, part of me said, why don't they just build more schools? But Julian was saying, he goes, the money for education is virtually non-existent. He's like, people don't value, he's like, the government doesn't value education the way they need to. And he was saying that just for Germany. So I'm not saying this about every single European country. And again, you know, I haven't done a ton of research, so that specific statement is just off of what he is saying. I don't know. It just makes me kind of down. Not really sad, but just kind of like, man. So, yeah. I don't know, if you guys want to discuss it, if you make it this far, I'm really sorry that this turned out to be as long as it did, but I will warn you at the beginning. I would love to discuss this with anyone, and I don't want to be condemned for my lack of knowledge by people from other countries, because I'm making an effort, and yeah, so I guess that's all for Vlogmas 4. I feel like Vlogmases are supposed to be super cheerful, so I'm sorry that this one isn't, but I hope you all, holding this awkwardly, I hope you all have a good day, night, afternoon, and I'm going to stop now because this is getting really long. I don't know why I looked over there. There's nothing over there. Oh, awkward hands. Because this is a thing now. Why does my hair look so piecey? I keep noticing that. There's all this, oh, okay, you should comb your hair. Okay, I'm going to go. Have a good, yep, I already said that. Okay, bye.